Guys, before I dive into my non-spoiler review for the Batman, I do want to say up front, I did get to go to a special fan screening. Got to see it a little early. It was in no way, shape, or form a promotional thing. I paid my own money to go see it early, and I'm glad I did. I'm a huge Batman fan. I've always been, and I wanted to see it as early as possible with a bunch of Batman fans. This review is in no way, shape, or form sponsored by Warner Brothers. I just want to get that out there. This is my own unbiased opinion, and I want to give you guys straight up thoughts as always. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump into my non spoiler review for The Batman. So, off the top, I want to congratulate Matt Reeves and give him a round of applause because he has delivered, in my opinion, the greatest Batman story to ever be put to film. Yes, I know there's going to be comparisons between this and The Dark Knight. They're two vastly different films. Let me just say that up front. I know there's going to be the comparisons, and yes, I might even compare them at some point, but to me, they're two vastly different stories, two vastly different types of Batmans. But Matt Reeves has knocked it out of the park. This movie is shot beautifully. It is edited beautifully. It does have a long runtime of 2 hours and 56 minutes, so get a small drink if you're going. But I feel like it's such a well deserved pace. Like, Matt does not waste his time. The movie does fly by. It, like I said, it is almost 3 hours long, but it never feels like it's taking its time or dragging along. Every scene feels important and like it needed to be there. So kudos to you, Matt Reeves. You have done it. You have created, in my opinion, the greatest Batman story to ever be put to film. What is a great director without a great cast? And the cast in The Batman is nothing short of fantastic. Robert Pattinson is my new favorite Batman. The level of just anger and brutality he brings to the character has not been seen yet. This is a very young and fresh minded Batman. He has not quite figured out what he wants Batman to be at this point in the story. And his level of just brutality he has towards the enemies of Gotham is just fantastic. It's jaw dropping, if I must say. Like, he might deserve Oscar praise for this movie. I would really want him to be up for best actor next year at the Oscars. And what's a great Batman without his great Catwoman? Zoe Kravitz, you deserve a round of applause. I know I'm giving a round of applause for everybody in the movie, but Zoe, I think you did a great job, and I'm so glad they went the route they did with Catwoman. They made her fierce and vulnerable and just really took the time to flesh out the character like we haven't really seen before. I would argue Michelle Pfeiffer was probably the best interpretation live action until now, and Hathaway was fine, but Zoe really took the icing for me. I loved everything she did, and I'm so glad they took the chances they did with the character. But I have nothing else I can say about Zoe. Just you need to see her in the film. She is fantastic. Moving right along into Paul Dano's Riddler. Oh my God, what a phenomenal performance. Riddler in this movie is unhinged, he's scary, and you never really know what he's going to do next. Batman definitely had his work cut out for him. The Riddler is smart, on edge, and just really getting at the Batman. I think this was a perfect interpretation of the Riddler, and definitely probably one of the best superhero villains we've seen in a movie in the 21st century. I have to give it to Paul Dano. He acted his ass off in this movie, and I'm really just there's really nothing else I can say. Like, Paul really just encapsulated what I think a modern day Riddler would be like. So kudos to you, and kudos that Matt Reeves took him in this direction. Jeffrey Wright as Lieutenant Gordon, and then Commissioner Gordon is phenomenal. I love what Jeffrey brought to the table. His relationship with Bruce slash Batman in the movie is probably my favorite we've seen on screen in a while. I think they just did a great job. Also, huge shout out to Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Whoever did the makeup deserves just the best makeup at the next year's Oscars. Jesus Christ, he looks nothing like Colin Farrell. But the Penguin, I wish we saw more of him. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he really was just perfect. Like I said, I think this is the best interpretation of the Penguin we've seen in live action, and I really hope we do see more of him down the line and maybe the spin-off shows that Matt Reeves has teased. What I don't think I see Matt getting enough credit for is his world building with Gotham. Gotham feels like a fully fledged living city. You do see it a lot in this movie, not just like on screen, but you feel it in the background. Like, it feels lived and it has history. And I don't think we've actually seen that in a Gotham before. It definitely gave me vibes from the Batman 89 and what Tim Burton was able to do, but just modernized. It felt dirty, it felt slimy, it felt like this was a underground cesspool, as the Riddler called it, for crime and other horrendous activities that people just never did anything about until the Batman showed up. Another great thing that I think people are just kind of overlooking is the Batmobile. This is the best Batmobile ever to be put to screen. I'm going to go out and say it. This is my favorite. As sort of a car guy, I don't really know what the car was based off of right off the top of my head, but this version of Batman is a tinkerer. He builds everything in his gadgets and in his suit. The Batmobile is a perfect interpretation of that. This is a car he built from the ground up, and this thing is badass. The chase scenes in this movie with the Batmobile are the best I've ever seen in a Batman movie. This is better than BVS Batmobile, and better than the Tumbler, and even better than Michael Keaton's original Batmobile. This is my definitive Batmobile. So I know I mentioned earlier that I think this is the perfect Batman story, and I completely stand by that. What Matt was able to pull from other things like the graphic novels or even television and video games and other movies, he was able to encapsulate all that into what I believe to be the definitive Batman story. Is this going to be everybody's cup of tea? No. This is a very, very dark story, but I think this works. This is my type of Batman. This is the Batman movie I've always wanted. This is a crime noir driven film. It does have action. There's a lot of action in this movie, but this is a Batman being a detective first, and I love that. Just the atmosphere they build for the Batman. This is not a spoiler, but the way the Batman is interacted with the world thus far, he is a force of nature. Nobody really knows if he exists still. He is still in the shadows, and the world of Gotham is horrified by that. The local thugs and even up to some of the lower crime bosses, they are afraid of the Batman. And I loved seeing that on screen. Like, you don't see the Batman, he's not the first thing you see in the movie. There's a couple other things I won't speak about, but the way they build up to the Batman the first time you see him is just, you're on the edge of your seat, and it is a beautiful shot scene. Just like every other scene in this movie, Matt knows how to work the camera and get the shots he wants. So I'm going to go ahead and say it again. This is the perfect Batman story, and arguably, in my opinion, the most well-shot Batman movie. So guys, I really don't know what I can tell you that I haven't already said without giving away spoilers. Please go see this movie for yourself. This is a movie that you need to see in the theater. I cannot wait to see it again and again and again, and definitely talk about it with you guys, and maybe even do more videos. I actually have 2 other videos planned. I want to do a full spoiler breakdown if you guys would like that, and I definitely want to talk in another video about why I think Matt created and crafted the best Batman story ever put to screen. So if you guys would like that, please leave a like and comment and let me know. But I think that's all for this review. I wanted to keep it quick and easy for you guys because I honestly think this is a 10 out of 10 movie. This is the perfect score I'm giving it. This is the perfect movie. The first time ever giving it on a review. Go out and see this movie. It's fantastic. I can say nothing else about it. Just go see it, guys, because you definitely need to see it in the theater, and I don't think you guys will be disappointed. So that is indeed, in fact, going to wrap up my review for the Batman. If you guys are new here, maybe leave a like and subscribe. If you're not, welcome back. I know it's been a while. It's been a pretty crazy year so far, but I definitely wanted to jump back with the Batman, and I'm glad I did. Like I said, I have another video I really want to do about the Batman, at least I will do, that talks about why I think Matt Reeves directed the perfect Batman movie. But guys, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Go out and see the Batman for yourself. It's a masterpiece. But with all that out of the way, guys, I hope you have a great day. And remember, be good people.